But to me, this is a bear market rally. And look at 2018-19. You had rallies that were percentage-wise bigger than what we've seen here, and we still came down and made new lows, or at least touched the same lows out there. So I do hope people are careful. I think the government on purpose is not unveiling regulation because they want to unveil their stable coin, their CBDC.
Gareth Soloway is the founder and CEO of InTheMoneyStocks, a financial research and education company that provides trading and investing guidance to individual investors and institutions. According to Gareth, the Bitcoin price action has been somewhat lackluster lately, with the cryptocurrency hovering between $27,000 and $30,500. He argues that this range-bound behavior is reminiscent of a bear market rally, and that a substantial move above $30,500 is needed to change the current market outlook. Beware of meme coin rally. Markets are headed for a crash, warns Gareth Soloway. The recent hype around meme coins like Pepe Coin has raised eyebrows in the crypto community. Gareth warns against chasing these coins, likening them to a game of hot potato, where investors hope someone else is willing to pay higher than they did. Bitcoin price hits $27,200, but new analysis warns more losses likely. Earlier in the weekend, Cointelegraph reported on the general cautious tone being adopted by market participants, with Van de Poppe among those demanding the bullish reclaiming of levels around $27,000 before considering long positions. The expert believes that the surge in speculation around these coins is a warning sign of froth in the market and could indicate that a more significant dip in the overall market is near. Gareth also touched on the subject of government regulation, which he believes is being held back until central bank digital currencies are launched. He questions the future relevance of stablecoins like Tether and USD Coin once CBDCs are in place, and how this shift may impact the cryptocurrency market. Before proceeding further in this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below for more recent updates about crypto market.
I talked about this for months in advance about the 30,500 level. And again, psychologically, that is like the major point of contention here. It was a level where, for me, it was a pivot point whether or not the low was in or not. And so far, we haven't broken through it. So the low, to me, is potentially still not in crypto. The level, why psychologically it's so important, it was the beginning of this mega move up to 65,000. It was the dip lows and then the move up to 69. And then we came in and consolidated before breaking down. So essentially, we've just reversed that move. If we zoom into the current price action, you do have some bearish stuff going on here, right? Number one, you still can't take out 30,500. You have a level here at 27, which I'm watching closely. But you could also make a case that there's a pretty clear trend line. I mean, maybe even going back to here, or we can just kind of slide that up underneath.
There you go.
And that's another concerning thing. So right now we haven't broken it, so you got to give it credit for not breaking it yet. But if this takes out to the downside, then that's where trouble really gets started. And yeah, I mean, you know, to me, to see so many bulls out there gambling, and again, it's not investing. You know, there's no one's getting into Pepe saying, "Hey, I'm going to hold this because it's going to be the best quality coin out there." They're getting in it because they think that they can just sell it to someone else at a higher price. And we're seeing so many meme coins, like everyone on Twitter. What's the next meme? Where do I get in? Where do I just throw some money to try to make 1,000%? Not healthy, not good for a market. And show me one bottom of a market historically, whether it's crypto stocks or commodities or anything that is actually showed that type of speculation. You can't find it. It's not out there. This is the sign of a top, not a bottom.
As per Soloway views, although the recent bank runs have allowed cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin and precious metals like gold, to stand out as alternatives outside the banking system, as he had noted that this was exactly why Bitcoin came into being. This situation still didn't trump fear and emotion. However, his belief is that if Bitcoin does get above $30,000 and we stay there for, let's say, a week or so, and establish ourselves back above that level, I think at that point, then I'll say, okay, listen, we're back above the psychological lows from the bull market of 2021, and now I think the low is in. But as of now, to me, this is a run-of-your-mill bear market rally. Does the Bitcoin price dump signal the start of another bear market? As the price of Bitcoin has suffered, so has the sentiment of investors moved into the more negative territory. Bitcoin rise above $31,000 brought the fear and greed index to a high of 69 in April. However, there has since been a shift in how investors have been looking at the market.
For cryptos in general. I mean, again, not necessarily the cryptos that can continue to expand exponentially, that don't have the non-fiat aspect to them, but But I
Right.
mean, shit, if we look at what happened with the banking crises recently and how
Yep.
that just proved to us why we need Bitcoin, well, guess what? Here's another example. I mean, you got a government that inevitably will raise, and then they owe X amount to Social Security, which is they owe us our money. They're going to have to print that at some point. I mean, there's just endless printing that will go on. But I think investors also need to recognize that that's a long term issue. It's not something that, like, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin today because all of a sudden these.
Seeing.
Bitcoin dips below $27,000, reversing post-CPI rally. The CoinDesk Market Index, which measures the overall crypto market performance, was down 1% over the past 24 hours. Bitcoin's price initially jumped after Wednesday morning's Consumer Price Index report released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that annual inflation slowed to 4.9% in April from 5% in March and less than the forecast 5%. The CPI rose 0.4% on a monthly basis, aligning with expectations and higher than 0.1% in March. As inflation rises, traditional fiat currencies lose purchasing power, making alternative investments like Bitcoin more attractive to investors seeking to hedge against inflation.
For me, watch that 27-ish thousand level on Bitcoin. If we take that out to the downside, I think, you probably have more downside to go. At least 25 would be 24 to 25 is my next support level. And again, just be aware that kind of keep your ears open to CBDC information coming out from the
Mm.
government and to those type of things, and just watch how it behaves. And last thing I'll say is just going back to the speculation going on. Gambling, which is what's going on in these meme coins, is not it's actually not even a good thing for crypto in all. We talked about this with
Mm.
Dogecoin and SHIB back in the day. It's not good. It's not a healthy thing for it. Doesn't make people say, oh, crypto's the future. If anything, it makes people more wary of the situation. CPI and PPI will be hugely watched by the market as an indicator for the Fed. The only thing I would say is it's interesting because I do think that the Fed is probably now on pause. They're not going to cut rates, but I do think they'll probably not hike the next meeting, which I think is about in a month and change, before there's a 2-month period where there's no meeting. So I do think that regardless of what the numbers show, I would be very shocked if the Fed was to hike again, considering the stress on the banking system. Like you said, we'll cover that in just a little bit. But those numbers will be cued off of. So whatever we see the CPI and PPI numbers come out, you're going to see the dollar make a move. You're going to see interest rates make a move. And then what we know is crypto, as well as stocks and commodities, will trade off of that, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, whether it's stocks in general. That's going to be a driver for this week. So it definitely is. And by the way, you can see today where, at least in the equity markets, things are very quiet. We had Apple, we had
Yeah.
the non-farm payrolls last week, we had the Fed. Now we have this little kind of period, what I call a hangover, where everyone got too drunk on that kind of stuff. Now they're like feeling it until Wednesday when they get the PPI.
Gareth Soloway believes Bitcoin needs to go above $30,500 to signal a bull market. CoinGlass data showed that traders who bet on a price shift liquidated over $47 million in Bitcoin long positions over roughly the past hour versus just over $5 million in Bitcoin short position liquidations. These types of long squeezes tend to push prices lower. Do you agree with Gareth Soloway's perspective about CPI data and recent performance of Bitcoin? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this information helpful, then like this video and subscribe to our channel. We will bring you more updates in the future.